I want to talk about something. I want to make something really, really clear here because, man, we live in a day and age where people can't see the forest for the trees. And there's such blatant deception going on these days in regard to the cerveza bug. And you know what I'm talking about? That we're so far into the deception, people can't see it, even though it's dangling right in front of their faces every single day. Okay, so the reason they've given for shutting the entire world down and just wreaking economic havoc and destruction, not just on America, but on the entire planet, is based on this number right here. This total global cases by the Johns Hopkins University, and I call it the fear porn death map number, okay? The reason they're giving is for these numbers right here. But where did these numbers come from? Right now we got total cases 37 million, total global cases, total deaths, they say, is 1.081 million. Total cases in the United States, 7.8 million, and total deaths, 715,000. But how do we know? Because we already know from Dr. Ezike.
Technically, even if you died of a clear alternate cause, but you had COVID at the same time, it's still listed as a COVID death. So everyone who's listed as a COVID death doesn't mean that that was the cause of the death, but they had COVID at the time of death. I hope that's helpful.
Basically, blow the whistle on the Cat Dog Cat Corporation, the Whiskey Hotel Oscar, is that these numbers can be assigned to people who already have died from a clear alternate cause. In other words, a cause other than cerveza bug. So they take these probable numbers and they call them confirmed cases. But even if it was a confirmed case, a quote confirmed case, a confirmed case does not equal, according to the Cat Dog Cat Corporation and the Whiskey Hotel Oscar, and you know who I'm talking about and you know why I can't say it, those confirmed cases, the cases are not necessarily infections, and a lot of times it's not an infection. But to add insult to injury, let me introduce you to something called Koch's postulate, because a lot of people are talking about it. There are 4 criteria in the Koch's postulate to establish a causative relationship between a microbe and a disease. If it doesn't meet this criteria, then you can't say that this quote-unquote cerveza bug is causing the disease. I'm just gonna point you in the direction of this second postulate right here. The microorganism must be isolated from a diseased organism and grown in a pure culture. That's the second part of the 4-part Koch's postulate, to establish the relationship between a microbe and a disease. If these criteria are not met, there is no established causative relationship between a microbe and a disease. So based on that, I'm just going to show you this real quick, because this is something everybody can go to, and I'm going to put the link in the chat room. I'm going to put the link in the description under this video and in the pinned comment so you can look this up for yourself. This comes straight from the Cat Dog Cat Corporation, and it's on the FDA.gov website. And if you go down here, and I know I've talked about this, but I'm not going to stop talking about this, because all this economic chaos and ruin and economic disaster and 20-something million people just in America out of a job. We're going to have so many homeless people in the next couple of months. We're going to have a supply line disruption where people aren't going to be able to feed their families. We have people in miles-long bread lines and these food bank lines in Pennsylvania and in Alabama, in Florida. There are just miles-long bread lines to the point where even mainstream media is reporting on this. People have lost their jobs, their lives, their livelihoods. People are committing suicide. They're turning to drugs and alcohol because they can't make ends meet. Families are breaking up because of the economic wreck and ruin that's been foisted on us by governments around the world. And it's all predicated on this number. If this number is suspect, then they've closed us down for literally nothing. For literally nothing. And if this disease, quote unquote disease, does not meet the 4 criteria of causative relationship between a microbe and disease according to Koch's postulate, and it falls short, then they haven't followed the scientific method to prove that this thing exists. And then you go to the CDC right here. Dang, I said that word. You go to the Cat Dog Cat Corporation, and under performance characteristics on page 39, I'm going to click this. Here's performance characteristics right up here. Under analytical performance, the last paragraph, the second sentence, it says, since no quantified virus isolates of the cerveza are currently available. Assays, that's diagnostic tests, which you can't do. You can't test something unless it's fulfilled Koch's postulate. The diagnostic tests designed for detection of the cerveza were tested with what? Not with the isolate, because they just said they don't have the isolate. With characterized stocks of an in vitro transcribed full-length RNA, not the cerveza itself. So what's the takeaway from this? No quantified virus isolates of the cerveza are currently available. In other words, we did not meet Koch's postulate to prove the causative relationship between this particular microbe, SARS-CoV-2, and disease. Have not done it. And yet, with the RT-PCR test that the creator of that test says is not supposed to be used for diagnostic purposes, they come up with this number, which means what about the number? I'll let you fill in the blank. What does that mean about this number? If this number comes into question at all, that means the governments of the world have literally shut everything down for a frickin' fairy tale, for a fabrication. That's it. And all you need is their own words to prove that that is so. Now you got all these people out here. And you know what's bad about this? Propaganda is so powerful. And deception, widespread deception is so effective. And even Hermann Goering said, tell a lie, make it big enough, tell it long enough, and the people will take that lie to be the truth. And a lie will make its way halfway around the world before the truth has time to put its pants on. And truth is treason in the empire of lies. So based on this lie right here, they've led to the doom and ruin and economic destruction and physical destruction of millions and millions of people. And to further solidify the dangers of propaganda is a lie can go out and now you've got basically a placebo effect where you've got all these people out here believing, people get sick anyway. People got sick long before COVID came along. And the reason I call it COVID and the reason people call it the plandemic is because James Bullard, he says this is a planned. That's where we get plandemic. This comes from James Bullard, the St. Louis president for the Federal Reserve. This is a planned, organized, partial shutdown of the U.S. economy in the second quarter. It couldn't be any clearer, guys. They don't have no quantified virus isolates of COVID-19 are currently available. They're not available. We can't, in other words, we can't prove it exists because we didn't follow Koch's postulate. They're talking about, we need to follow the science. We need to follow the science. They didn't even follow the scientific method to prove this thing exists. By their own words. I'm not saying anything beyond what Cat Corporation says. And so now because of all this propaganda, we make a world full of hypochondriacs. Somebody gets a sniffle and it's like, oh my God, I must have the Rona. Somebody gets an upset stomach or there's a little fever. Oh my God, they've been talking about this 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I must have it. Guys, I'm telling you, the power of suggestion is so powerful. It's so effective. It's so complete. This lie is so pervasive. There are hypochondriacs out there who just gravitate toward this. I was telling my audience the other day, I started feeling a little queasy one afternoon or one evening. And the first thing that popped into my mind, because I'm always around this stuff and I know the score. I know what's going on. I can't even help it. I just have to be forthright with you. I immediately thought, man, maybe, do I have this thing? It's like, what are you talking about? Do you have it? There's no even proof that it exists. And you wouldn't have even thought that unless CNN and MSLSD and Fox News and Donald Trump and Joe Biden and all these people are constantly telling you it's out there and we got to shut things down and you got to wear your mask and you got to protect yourself and this is horrible. Oh my God, it's only a 99.97% survival rate. What? 99.97% survival rate? God, those are better odds than, going out in my car and driving in my neighborhood. I have a higher chance of dying doing that. So it's all based on something that they don't, I'm just going to read it again. No quantified virus isolates of the cerveza are currently available. We don't have it. They don't exist. Give this portion of this video to everyone you love and know because people are freaking out about this. They're making life decisions. This is the reason. These lies right here are the reason people are looking at you funny in the supermarket because you're not playing along with the big fat lie. Because you don't subscribe to the religion and the teaching of the high priests of politics saying you need to cover yourself up, you need to social distance, wash your hands 50 times a day, submit to contact tracing, which is really constitution trampling. Guys, this isn't about COVID-19. This is about a planned, organized partial shutdown of the U.S. economy for the purpose of bolstering and increasing the power of the Federal Reserve and the IMF and the Zionist International Banking Cartel. That's all this is. They want to crash the dollar. They want to crash all economies and currencies all over the world and replace them with a digital currency so they can track and trace you wherever you go and eliminate you. And put you on a social credit score system where, oh my goodness, did you say something bad about BLM? Well, we're just going to take $100 out of your account right now. How's that? This is about total control. So share this portion of the video with everybody you know everywhere you can, because people are freaking out about this lie and they do not understand that the very people who are telling you you need to shut down are the very people who are admitting they don't have a quantified virus isolate. They didn't follow the second rule of Koch's postulate, which is a scientific method, and they don't have it currently available. They can't prove it exists, in other words. Guys, we already know that they want to decimate the dollar, destroy the economy, bring us into a cashless society, and eventually make it difficult for us to even get food. That's why I constantly promote My Patriot Supply. Every chance I get, I turn my fiat currency notes into long-term storable food. This stuff is awesome. It's got a 25-year shelf life. And one thing we're all going to need is storable food. It's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. With my link in the description, you get $100 off of every order instantly. It'd be a good idea to order it while you can, because I'm not sure how much longer they're going to be able to ship this out. My link for your $100 off discount is in the description below.